Today, we are diving into a really fascinating piece of research to tackle a huge question. Can you actually build an AI that consistently makes money in the wild, totally unpredictable world of currency trading? Let's break it down. So here's the core challenge, right? We're not just talking about some simple program, we're talking about a system designed to think, to learn, and maybe, just maybe, to beat the best human traders at their own game. The goal here is to see if an algorithm can really find a genuine statistical edge in the massive Forex market. So, here's our game plan for today. First, we'll set up the trading challenge. Then, we're going to go shopping for our AI's secret ingredients, all the data. We'll see how its digital brain is trained. Then, we'll put different recipes to the test in a data showdown. And finally, we'll take it from the lab into a live market simulation to uncover the ultimate winning formula. All right, let's jump right into our first section, the trading challenge. This is where we really set the stage for the ultimate showdown, the gut-feeling, experienced human trader versus the cold, hard logic of an algorithm. You know, this slide just nails the central conflict. On one hand, you've got the human trader. We've got intuition, we've got experience, but we've also got fear, greed, and all those little biases that trip us up. And on the other hand, the AI. It's pure logic, no emotions, and it can execute trades at a speed we can't even comprehend. So the big question is, can that pure, logical process actually beat the nuanced, if sometimes flawed, instincts of a human? Okay, on to section 2, where we get into the AI's secret ingredients. Look, to build a world-class trading AI, you need a world-class recipe. And just like any great meal, it all comes down to the quality of your ingredients. For our AI, that means data. Lots and lots of different kinds of data. The first type of ingredient is probably what you think of when you picture trading, technical variables. This is all about reading the charts, right? Finding patterns, trends, and signals just by looking at the market's own price movements. It's basically the AI staring at a screen, trying to find that perfect moment to jump in. And believe me, the researchers didn't hold back on the spices here. They used over 11 different technical indicators, stuff like moving averages, RSI, even these really complex, automatically calculated support and resistance levels. Every single one of these gives the AI a totally different lens to look at the market through. But just looking at charts, that's not enough. Our AI also needs to get what's happening in the real world. And that's where our second ingredient comes in, fundamental variables. This is the big picture stuff, the economic data that tells you if a country's economy is soaring or sinking. You can think of these as the flour and eggs of our recipe, the absolute basics. The researchers fed the AI 8 key macroeconomic variables for both the US and the Eurozone. We're talking GDP, inflation, unemployment rates. This means the AI isn't just seeing lines on a chart. It's also crunching data on the fundamental health of entire economies. Okay, ingredients are gathered. Now for section 3, we get to meet the master chef, the one who's going to combine everything into something amazing. And in the world of AI, that chef is the neural network. Now, the researchers chose a very specific kind of AI called a long short-term memory network, or LSTM. You don't need to be a data scientist, but here's the key thing to know. LSTMs are amazing at remembering important information over long stretches of time. For trading, that is absolutely critical. It means the AI can connect an inflation report from 3 months ago to a weird price spike happening right now, a connection a human might totally miss. And this slide just shows you how incredibly sophisticated this cooking process is. I mean, this is not just dumping data into a bowl. Just look at this 6-step process, which the algorithm follows just to figure out one variable, support and resistance. It's slicing up data, finding highs and lows, clustering them, averaging them. It's this methodical, mathematical process that no human could ever replicate with this kind of speed and precision day in and day out. Which brings us to section 4, the dataset showdown. This is the really exciting part. It's the taste test. The researchers built 10 different AI models, each one using a unique recipe of our data ingredients. So, which one is going to be the best at predicting the market? Let's find out. Now, to judge these models, we need a scorecard. The researchers use something called the AUC score. All you need to know is it measures the AI's predictive power. A score of 0.5 is basically a coin flip. A score of 1.0 means it's a perfect crystal ball. Obviously, we want to get as close to 1.0 as we can. And here we go, the results from the lab. This table shows the top 3 models, and you might notice the column says AUC men. That's just a specific, really rigorous way the researchers crunched the numbers to make sure the results were solid. And right away, there's a huge surprise. The complex models, Model 3 and 7, they both scored a very good 0.64. But look at the winner, Model 2. That's right, the model with the highest predictive score, a 0.65, was the one that only used the fundamental real-world economic data. In this first test, old-school economics completely crushed all those fancy chart indicators. What a result. But does a good score in the lab actually translate to making money? And that surprising result leads us right into Section 5, taking this thing from the lab to the live market. Because, a high predictive score is great, but the real test is simple. Can it actually make a profit? To find out, the researchers ran their top 3 models through a simulation on recent, totally new market data. So the simulation ran for 9 months, from mid-2023 to early 2024. The rules were easy. If a model was confident the market was going up, it signaled a buy. If it was confident it was going down, sell. The big question is, how often was it right? Let's focus on Model 7, that hybrid model that used both the fundamental and the advanced technical data. In the simulation, when it signaled a buy, it was profitable and incredible, 85.71% of the time. I mean, that is a ridiculously high win rate. But what about its sell signals? 100%. You are seeing that correctly. In the entire 9-month simulation, every single time Model 7 predicted the market would go down, it was right. So remember how that simpler, fundamental-only model won the lab test? Well, when it came to the practical, money-making test, this more complex hybrid model was the absolute, undisputed champion. So after all that testing, all that simulating, we've made it to our final section, the winning formula revealed. What is the secret ingredient? What's the biggest takeaway from this whole experiment? Well, it turns out the winning formula isn't about choosing one type of data over another. It's about a hybrid approach. That fundamental economic data gives it a powerful predictive base. But it's the specific, advanced, technical data layered on top that takes the system from being a good predictor to being a highly profitable trading machine. It combines that big picture understanding with a tactical precision that no human can keep up with. And this really brings us all the way back to our original question. The authors of the paper wrap it up with this really powerful statement. They argue that, yeah, these systems are complex to build, but they can process so much more information than any person ever could. And because of that, they really can surpass our own abilities in these incredibly complex markets. And that just leaves us with one final thought to chew on. We've just seen how a well-designed AI can tackle one of the most chaotic, human-driven environments on Earth, the financial markets, and find a winning edge. So if it can do that, what other complex, data-heavy human tasks are next? Thanks for tuning in.